So I drove out, I drove around town. I got somewhere, then I decided to return back home. On returning back home, someone flagged me down to just help him to get forward. So I looked at him, he was well dressed. I said, okay, let me just help him. On opening the door, he got in. When he locked the car, he saw that it was quite a nice car, and the inside is tinted. He put the car off immediately. On putting the car off, I said, what did they occur? You asked for help to reach downwards, and I'm helping you. He said I should just calm down and respect him. I said, all right, no problem. So I was calm, I relaxed, I had not known what was happening, and in a matter of minutes, about 3 other guys had opened the door and entered the car. So when they entered the car, I looked at them. I said, what is this? I turned and I saw the very fierce, angry-looking face. So the other one told them that they should drop me and I should come out from the driver's seat. So someone else went to drive and they led me to the back seat. I sat on the back seat and they drove off. I had not understood what was happening. It was while they were driving off and I began to get their language. I say, now then be this workers of iniquity. So they drove, they were going. It was when they started driving my car in a very rough way. Panic attack struck. My heartbeat had already gone, I think, in 150. It was beating hard and I was afraid, I won't lie. But in that state of fear, I knew settled in me that I won't leave this city. No matter what will happen, I won't get out of this city. So as my heart was still panicking, I told myself to calm down. They kept discussing what they were going to do, the plans of the car and all that. I was still going. In that motion, and they were speaking their language in a with very high intonation that you cannot suspect what God did. Here comes the wisdom of the Lord. He spoke to me and said, someone here speaks my language. So I spoke my language out loudly. I said, where are you taking me to? Then the person in front turned and looked at me. He looked at me so downcasted, like, He asked me, do you speak this language? Do you learn this language or this is your language? I said, it's my language. I brought out my ID card to prove to him, my middle name, that this is my language. It's me. So he looked and said, Kai, you can't take my brother to where I'm going to. See the wisdom of God at work. So he said he can't take his brother to where they are going to. Then the other guys behind, they got angry and they got furious. Stop that thing. And he told them to keep quiet. I said, I can't take him. So when they were arguing, he now said that, but he cannot just leave me like that. I should give him something. How much do I have there? And I said, I had 10,000 naira. He turned and looked at me with anger. He hissed and said, drive off. I said, this thing is serious. So he asked me that, what is my profession? I said, pastor. I said, pastor, you go see today. So we kept driving and I said, okay, how much do you want? He said, how much can I give? And I said, I'll give you 50,000 naira. He looked and said, I should add something. He said, 60,000 naira. Now we are driving out. So he told the guy driving that drive to the nearest POS that we can see. So they took my ATM card from me. They drove to the nearest POS. He took the ATM and told me to impute. He said, calm down. When you go out, don't act rash. Just follow and everything will be fine. I said, all right, no problem. I imputed my password and my PIN, and they took what they wanted. And they still got into the car and started driving off. The anger increased. The intensity was high. They were angry. They were battling. So he received the call that they've gotten someone else. So when they received the call that they've gotten someone else, he now said, okay, let them drive me back. So they drove me back into the town and took me back to Area 10. When they got to Area 10, they said that, all right, this is what they will do. They will get out. But when they get out, I shouldn't open the door. From the back seat, I should move into the front seat. I should go. At this time, my hands were still shaking, despite the wisdom of God that delivered me. So when I got into the car, I held the steering. This was around 2 p.m. I mean, broad daylight. I held the steering. I drove off. I drove to go to opposite DOA and unpacked. And I began to sing the mercies of the Lord. It's not by any kind of wisdom. It's not by any kind of spiritual intelligence. It is just the sure mercies of God that I have entered into the hands of this evil man, and he spared my life. He took me out, spared my life, spared my car, that I will return to my wife who was expecting me to come back home. Praise the Lord.